Hey everyone, glad that you're here on the Monday Mindset. Kevin DeShazo, where in the world are you? I actually know, but I want everyone to know where in the world you are. You look like you're in a spaceship or something. What's going on?
I am. We've taken our live stream to outer space. We just have some amazing technology. Now, I am here in our giant studios here in Oklahoma City. These are the lights behind me. So all the great content that you see on our platform, most of that gets filmed right here in Oklahoma City in our giant studios.
Awesome. Well, it looks really cool. Very neat. Lots of fun things happen in that room. So,
Absolutely.
well, everyone, we're so glad that you're here. I see Peg is here and Margaret from Monroe, Louisiana. It looks like Peg is from Arizona, and we have people from Facebook and LinkedIn as well. So glad that you're starting out your week with us. It's always fun to have you. And I know for me, I look forward to this day just to set my mind straight so that I can have a great week. And so I love when Kevin gives his insight on Mondays for me personally. So today we have a fun subject, kind of fun, kind of, I don't know, personal. And it's about, well, you tell us what it's about, Kevin.
Yeah, well, first off, Margaret, I'm coming your way in about 2.5 weeks. We're staying in Monroe, Louisiana, on our way to Florida for a little vacation. So I hope things are going well in Monroe. See you soon. But today the topic is you. And the fact that you might actually be your biggest obstacle. So when it comes to getting better, when it comes to growth, when it comes to mindset, we love to blame everyone around us. We love to blame our boss because our work situation isn't great. And sometimes you do have a bad boss, but we love to blame our team. If only we had a different team, things would be better. If only something else, I'd be healthier. If only I had more time, if only I had more money, if only I had, it's always somebody else's fault or some other reason. And I think we like to blame other things and other people so that we don't have to take ownership, right? Because if my circumstances, if my reality is somebody else's fault, then I don't have to fix it. Right? I can just keep blaming them and waiting on them to change. I don't actually have to take action and make my situation better. But that's not leadership, right? And that's having an unhealthy, toxic mindset. And what you're doing is actually showing everyone around you that it's okay to place blame. That when things don't go your way, when things aren't as you want them to be, you can blame everyone else. You don't have to take ownership. But what's really interesting is like this is a simple concept that we all, I think, teach to our kids too. Right? We don't want our kids to blame other people, right? We want our kids to take ownership. We want them to take responsibility. And so we try to teach that to our kids. We have a rule in our house, like no complaining and no blaming somebody else. Own it, right? If you want something to change, if you want something to get better, if you want something to get picked up, if you want something done, do it, take action. And yet as we get older, as adults, these insecurities set in, this fear sets in, self-preservation sets in, and we start to blame other people. We start to make excuses. But the reality is when you start to take ownership of your reality, of your circumstances, all of a sudden magic can actually start to happen. Because when you realize like, wait a minute, I get to choose how I show up. I get to choose how I lead my team. I get to choose how I lead myself. I get to choose how I take care of myself. I get to choose all of these different things. I get to choose how I show up every day in life. It is a choice, but that's a mindset. Right? And most people, if you look around our world, most people are not operating with that mindset. It's always somebody else's fault. But think about those people as well. The people that operate that way, those aren't people that you want to follow. Right? Those aren't people whose opinions that you seek out for wisdom, for guidance. Those aren't people that you seek out to mentor you. Why? They don't have a lot of influence with you because every time something goes wrong, they blame somebody else. So what would it look like for you today to just start to take ownership of your reality, take ownership of your mindset, to say, wait a minute, I'm not thinking the right way. And because I'm not thinking the right way, I'm not living the right way. I'm not acting the right way. We've talked before on this Monday Mindset of how your thoughts shape your actions. This is still true in this situation, right? Your thoughts are putting the blame and the ownership on someone else. And thoughts only have as much power as we give them, right? Thoughts are just thoughts. We decide what to do with them. See, it's okay to have that negative thought, right? It's okay to have that insecure thought. It's okay for that fear to pop up. We don't need to shame ourselves or beat ourselves up for thinking negatively, right? We're human. That's okay. But we get to decide what we do with those thoughts, to say, nope, I know my tendency right now is to blame somebody else, but that's not going to work out well for me. It's not going to make anything better. and I'm actually going to lose influence with people. So instead, I'm going to take ownership, and I'm going to start to make things better. And I'm going to start with me first. Because as you take ownership with yourself and start to lead yourself better, that gives you influence to lead other people better. And so I think part of today is to think about, who have you falsely made the obstacle in your life? Or what have you falsely made the obstacle in your life? Say, I would get better, but I could get better, but this thing or that person or this situation. What if you backed away and just realized that that's actually not true? I mean, let's look at our current reality, right? We're in the middle of a global pandemic. And early on, a lot of people were saying, hey, this is a great time for you to invest in yourself, right? To go deep on your own mindset, on your self-awareness, on how you want to get better, because you're working from home. Your schedule is going to be a little bit different. So now's the time to double down and invest in yourself. And a lot of people got really frustrated with that line of thinking, saying that you're expecting me to add 47 new things to my plate. Well, that's a burden. It's like, no, better doesn't have to be a burden, because you and I both could name dozens of people who took this time during a pandemic, said, no, I'm going to go deep on myself. Yes, I have work. Yes, I have family, but I'm going to go deep on understanding myself and learning about myself and investing in my leadership. They didn't say, yeah, but a pandemic. Yeah, but the future is uncertain. Yeah, but work just got really weird. Yeah, but now my kids are in homeschool. Yeah, but it's like, no, they just said, yeah, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to take ownership. And they've gotten better as a result of their investment in themselves during this season. And it didn't mean they added significant burden to their day, right? They just said, my leadership, my mindset is going to be a priority. I'm not going to make excuses. And when you stop making excuses, you can start taking ownership. And then things actually start to get better. So Tracy, what are your thoughts? Any questions? How does this resonate with you?
I have a lot of thoughts, actually. I was just brought back while you were talking about when I was a mother of young children. And I remember distinctly one day, one of my kids was upset because his older brother was kind of picking on him and making him mad, and he had lost his temper. And I had about lost my temper at that point, and definitely had a couple days before. And I said, listen, you can't let him control you. You have to stay in control no matter what he does. And he looked at me and he said, well, you do. Like, you let him control you sometimes. And I thought, oh, you're so right. And many times I let that happen. And there's, if you're waiting for a moment in your life when you don't have a frustrating person in your life, then you're going to be waiting a lifetime, right? There are just difficult people out there, and you might be one of those difficult people to someone else, right? And so if you're waiting for everyone around you to be perfect so that then you can show how self-controlled you are, or you can show how great and kind and patient you are, that's not you then, right? And I was listening this weekend to an interview with, I think his name is James Clear. He wrote Atomic Habits. You know that book?
Fantastic book.
Yeah, if I can remember the quote, he said something like this: every action you take is a vote for the person you want to be.
That's right.
We'll look it up, but I think that's right. And I thought, ooh, that's really good. You can say all day long that you're, say, a self-controlled, patient person, but we'll see if you are by how much you explode when somebody doesn't do what you want them to do, right? And that's convicting for me, because I can act like I'm this or that, but my actions show what kind of a mindset I actually do have.
That's right. That's exactly right. Right. Your actions are a result of your mindset. They're an outflow of your mindset. And that's really, really key. I love that quote. And again, I think we've probably talked about that book on Monday Mindset before, Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, go get it. Highly recommend. But that's right. Every action you take is saying, this is the kind of person I want to become. So I would say, even evaluate your current reality. Your current reality is a result of the things that you've consistently done over the past week, over the past months, over the past years. And those things that you've done are a result of the way that you think. And so are the things that you're consistently doing leading you on a path that you want to be on? Are they leading you to a place that you want to be? Are they leading you to become the person that you want to be? If not, well, it's nobody else's fault, right? You control you, right? Like you said, you can't control your boss. You can't control your kids. You can't control your spouse. You get to control you. And so I think we talked about this maybe last week, is that it's your perspective in everything, right? Events are happening, circumstances are happening, but it's your perspective in the middle of it. You get to control how you show up. And so we don't get to blame other people or put the responsibility on someone else. Say, no, I'm going to take ownership for my life. And that starts first with the way that I think. I think about goals that people have. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to start a business. And we find all these reasons why we don't, that aren't real. They're excuses, right? They're not reasons. We try to get with our kids and really separate. There are reasons and there are excuses. Reasons are real. It could be an obstacle that you actually cannot move, right? If you want to put a building here and there's a building there, well, that's an obstacle that you can't move. That's a reason that you can't put a building there. Excuses are lies, right? That we believe that actually hold us back. And so what are the reasons that you've actually, that aren't reasons, you're labeling them reasons, but they're actually excuses that you've made in your life. And those excuses are holding you back. I'll write a book when I have more time. Well, then you watch Netflix for 2 hours a night. I'll get healthy when my kids are out of school or whatever, right? We put all these excuses around us. And it puts the responsibility on everyone else, right? It takes that burden off of our shoulders. And so as we continue to not get better, to not get healthy, our mindset is multiplying that to other people, right? We never have to take that responsibility. And it's always a burden on someone else and not our own.
Yeah, Margaret here said that this is really timely. She said, this morning I wrote down, how can I be a liberator for myself today or this week? And then she says, I looked at personal things I can do to be healthier because I know I can give what, she needs to give to who. And so for those of you who are just listening, this word liberator, we use this a lot at Giant. Kevin, can you explain that liberator mindset that Margaret is referring to?
Yeah, the simplest way to put it is a liberator fights for the highest possible good in the lives of those they lead. And we usually use a tool called the support challenge matrix. You may be familiar with it. Liberators balance high support and high challenge, right? And so you high expectations, high accountability, with encouragement, with care, with support, with resources, so that people can actually achieve those high expectations. And I love what Margaret's saying is we have to be that for ourselves. Right? We have to, and that starts again with your mindset. You have to call yourself up to fight for your own highest good, because you can't give to others what you don't possess. And so if you don't have a healthy mindset, you're not going to give that to other people. If you're not taking ownership, right? Leaders define culture. And so wherever you are leading, whatever circles of influence that you are leading, you may not be the leader, the boss, the CEO, but you're leading in certain circles of influence. And if you're not owning your mindset, right, if you're not getting out of your own way, you're not going to have a team that has a healthy mindset, because they're watching how you act. They're learning from you, just like you said with kids. Hey, he doesn't control you. You have to control your temper. Well, you don't. Oh, that's right. You control you. And so too often, again, we are that obstacle. If we can get out of our own way, we can truly start to unlock our potential. But it starts in your mindset, like not ignoring lies or fears or insecurities, but battling against them. Right? Ignoring them isn't healthy, but to recognize them, recognize that unhealthy thought, recognize that insecurity, recognize that fear, and say, wait a minute, I don't actually have to live out of that. I can go this direction and get a better outcome. So if we can remove ourselves as a massive obstacle, our influence will go up, our productivity will go up, our peace will go up, and things will get significantly better.
So can we kind of get really granular for a minute? Because I know it's fun to say these things and it sounds, this is rainbow and unicorns, right? But on a granular level, on a day-to-day basis, if someone has a negative mindset, what do? Do you write it down? Do you put an alert in your phone? Do you have a spreadsheet of all your crazy thoughts and try and work through them? Do you pray? Do you meditate? What can people do practically every day?
I've never had a bad day. I don't know. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Tracy's probably seen my bad days. No, I think this is really important, because what I don't want you guys to hear from us is life is constantly up here, right? We're human. We are imperfect. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have negative mindset. Again, that doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you less than. That makes you normal. Everyone has bad days. Nobody just magically wakes up with a great mindset. And so I think, number one, understanding that, having a realistic expectation for yourself. Perfection is not the goal, because perfection is not possible, right? It's about progress. Do you have a better mindset today than you did yesterday? And if you have a bad mindset today, that's okay. One bad day, right? Acknowledge it, work through it, and then decide to have a better mindset tomorrow, right? One bad day doesn't have to turn into 2 bad days, turn into a bad week, a bad month, a bad season, a bad year. But I have a number of things I try to do. Again, one, I try to start my day with that identity statement that I read each morning to call myself up, to fight for my own highest good, to remind me of who I am, to take ownership of my mindset. Because even mindset, right? It's not somebody else's responsibility to give you a healthy mindset. It doesn't work that way. You have to work for it. You have to show up and start to work out that mindset muscle. I have some things in my phone that I'll put 1 or 2 times a day, reminders that go off. Because as much as I want to have great days, as much as I try to start my day off on purpose, things happen, right? We live in an imperfect world with selfish people and difficult people. And sometimes I'm one of those selfish, difficult people. And we have issues with clients, we have issues with family, we have issues all over the place. And I've got to remind myself to be in the right mindset. And so starting the morning off, starting the day off that way isn't always enough. I want to have reminders throughout my day. And again, I know that may sound a little bit cheesy, but I'm going to keep going back to the question of, well, what's the alternative? To just have a bad moment and let that spiral your day down, or to have a bad moment and have something to fall back on and say, nope, I remember who I am. This is who I committed to being today. I'm going to live that out and hold myself accountable, because liberators hold people accountable. Right? Accountability is part of great leadership. So holding yourself accountable. And so whatever it looks like for you, like I said, if you've got reminders in your phone, if you meditate, if you pray, if you go for a walk, if you journal real quick, if you just do some deep breathing, whatever it is you need to do, make your mindset a priority, not just once, but consistently throughout the day.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, going back to that support challenge matrix, which for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, if you just get a free account with us, giant.tv/free account, we have a lot of tools that you can use. But this is a favorite of mine, of course, the support challenge matrix. And it's saying, like you said, give yourself support, but then don't just let yourself rah yourself to death. You also have to give yourself challenge. And so I know I'll speak, I guess, just for myself, but I was going to say for women, I won't generalize, but I think maybe we have a hard time supporting ourselves and saying, you're okay, you can do this. And so if you struggle with that, I would say then surround yourself with people with great mindsets, so that they can help you along. I mean, what you put into your mind, the people that you surround yourself with, what you're watching, you know, what music you're listening to, what podcast you're listening to, what books you're absorbing, all of that goes into who you are and what your mindset is going to be, right? So
yeah. Well, and we are a result of the voices that we listen to, internally and externally, right? So our internal voice and the voices of the people around us, those shape who we become and how we act. And so you may need to change the voices that you're listening to, right? Like change the channel. If you're driving on the road listening to a radio station and all of a sudden 10 minutes in, you're like, wait, why are we listening? This is terrible. Like, this is not good music. Like, we don't enjoy this. It's stressful. It's not, how do we end up here? Oh, I don't even know. We were just in conversation and wasn't really paying attention. Well, once you realize, like, wait, this isn't actually good, you're going to change the channel and find something that brings peace, brings joy, that you, whatever, right? You're going to find music that you want to listen to. So the same thing with our thoughts and the voices, internal and external. If you don't like what you're listening to, change the channel. Find some better people to listen to, find some better people to follow. And I will say that is the beauty of the internet age, is that maybe you're in a situation that's fairly toxic and people around you all have negative mindsets. Well, you can find podcasts, you can find YouTube videos, all sorts of things of people who will speak a better mindset, right? And teach you what that means and give you better voices to listen to at the click of a button. And so again, that's another one of those excuses. Well, everyone around me is negative. Well, you have literally every piece of content ever created at your fingertips. You can choose to find better voices to listen to. And again, I will guarantee when you do that, you will see fruit from that. And then what's going to happen is the people around you are going to start to notice, like, wait a minute, you're suddenly a really positive person. Like, you're not ignoring issues, but like, you're showing up differently in the midst of these issues. What's going on? Like, yeah, I've been working on myself. Here's what that looks like. And as you can own the fact, like, yeah, I didn't have a good mindset a month ago. Here's what I've done to get better. Then you can multiply that into those that you lead and those who are around you, and then they can have better mindsets. And then that's what leaders do, right? You've first fought for your own highest good to get healthy, and then you fight for the highest possible good of those around you. Once you get healthy, you have health to give to them, right? And so I think that's a really critical thing. And I would also hit on the point that you made. I think we're slowly moving, turning the corner in this direction, but we've made self-care in our society a selfish thing. That if you take time for you, you're weak, you're selfish, you're all these negative things. Like, no, that's the strongest thing you can do. All right, because to constantly give to everyone else is going to burn you out. And so you have to fight for yourself first. And again, that starts with your mindset. You are worth caring for and fighting for. And as you fight for yourself, then you can fight better for other people. And so in that support challenge, don't bring too much challenge on yourself and take yourself out, right? Don't beat yourself up. Kind of way that I kind of look at it with support challenges, when it's too much challenge and not enough support, you're holding people down or holding yourself down. When it's too much support and not enough challenge, you're holding people back, right? They're not actually going to get better. You're almost encouraging unhealthy habits. But when you balance that support and challenge, you build people up. And so as you learn to build yourself up, you can learn to build other people up as well.
That's good. I was just thinking it might be a good exercise. I think I'm just going to go home and ask my husband this later after work. Maybe you could ask somebody close to you if you could find. I know you don't know what's in my mind, so you can't tell me my mindset. But if you, from the outsider's perspective, how would you define my mindset? And ask them their perspective. It might be interesting because sometimes I do a lot of complaining in my head, but I don't let it come out. And so I'm thinking, ooh, does everyone around me think I'm just a complainer? But maybe it doesn't come out. It will eventually if that's all you do, right?
Yeah.
So we can't, it's hard. We always talk about this here, that you have to put a mirror in front of you. It's really hard to see your own self clearly. And so just ask the person that loves you and that can be truthful with you, what do you think my mindset is? And see if it's what matches.
And have the humility to listen to them, right? If we're going to ask someone for the truth, we have to listen to the truth and not get defensive, because however they perceive us is how they perceive us, right? Like that's the reality that they are experiencing with us. And so if we're going to ask them, we have to be willing to hear it, because we may not always, sometimes the answer may be great. Like, no, I think you're amazing. You've got a great mindset. You make things better wherever you go. Other times, maybe, you know what, like, I don't think this is what you intend, but this is how it feels around you sometimes. So I think there's two things. One, I think it's great. Ask somebody around you that you trust. And again, if they're willing to tell you the truth, that means they care about you, right? They care about you enough to tell you the truth, to say, you're living down here. I'll be glad to help you get up here, because this is where I see you. But also do an audit of your day, especially when stressful situations hit, and think, how did I act in that situation? What caused me to act that way? What about my mindset? Was it a way that I believed about myself? Was it something negative I believed about that person, which caused me to go into this interaction already expecting a negative outcome? So kind of audit your own actions and your own mindset throughout the day. And you'll see where you need to start to work on things. And again, give yourself room to grow in this, right? You're not going to, just because you decide to have a great mindset today, doesn't mean you're going to have a great mindset tomorrow. So give yourself room, right? Progress is a process. And so the more you work at it, the better you get. But there will be bumps in the road. You will have bad days. That's okay. Keep moving, keep going, keep showing up.
That's great. Well, this has been really good. For those of you out there, I just hope that just little nuggets of wisdom or tips or tricks that you can glean. I hope that's something you can kind of take with you today and just have a great week. And so we look forward to seeing you again next Monday. Any last words, Kevin?
That's all I got. We'll see you guys in the chat. We'll hang out for a few more minutes. So feel free to throw some questions in there. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next Monday.
That's right. See you.